Buddy, what is going on? The catch. Fam, I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope everyone out there has had a great Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you guys are ready for some live week 3 fantasy Q&A. Can you guys believe it? We're already going into week 3 of the season. It feels like it's flying by. But anything that you guys need, start, sits, trades, how did the waiver wire go? Who's still out there on the waiver wire? How have injuries affected you? We've had some big injuries over the past couple of days. We got some news to get into today. I mean, you guys know what it is, okay? It's what we do almost every single night here on the channel. So whatever you guys need, any questions pertaining to the 2023 fantasy football season, I'm here for you guys. Get in the live chat. Let's get it popping. And any NFL topics you guys want to go over, any fantasy football questions, redraft, dynasty, best ball, whatever it is, get in the live chat. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk some fantasy football. So I hope you guys are doing great. I was on Sunday morning, was on Monday night after the games. I will not be streaming on Tuesday nights this year. So been a whole 24 hours since I have got to talk to you guys. So, I felt like we had a pretty good recap kind of Monday night, and we were able to go over a lot of the potential scenarios around the Nick Chubb situation. And I told you guys I do like Jerome Ford. Like, I do think Jerome Ford is worth going and picking up, but we need to kind of be a little bit, maybe tamper our expectations for this situation, because there's a very strong likelihood that the Browns do bring in another running back. And I don't think that was like a crazy prediction or anything. But nonetheless, the Browns did bring in another running back, and it is going to be Kareem Hunt, which a lot of you guys speculated. And I mean, we looked at all the free agent running backs, and it was like, yeah, this was pretty obvious was going to happen. So, nonetheless, Kareem Hunt will be reuniting with the Browns. Kevin Stefanski has said that Jerome Ford will be the team's starting running back going forward. I mean, that's always, that's coach talk, I guess. We'll see what happens. I do think that I believe that statement, though, because like it's gonna, even though Kareem Hunt's been on this team, been in this offense and everything, like it's still going to, maybe take a game or two for Kareem Hunt to get back into the fold of things. But if you spent all your free agent money on, Jerome Ford or your top waiver priority or whatever it may be, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. I still think Jerome Ford looked really good, against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. And I don't know. I just wouldn't panic too much and really like feel like, you wasted, waiver priority or anything like that. Ultimately, I do think, and we talked about this a lot Monday. I do think that this is going to be a committee approach backfield, but I think Jerome Ford's going to be very involved. So, I wouldn't worry too much if you went out and got him, or vice versa. If you went out and got Hunt, and maybe you're like, I don't know, this is just committee. Like, they were both worth picking up. But the other thing that I really talked a lot about Monday night after the games was, don't get super excited about this backfield right now, because in week 3, they're facing the Titans. All last week, I told you guys, please don't start Josh Kelly against this run defense of the Titans. And this week, yeah, I don't really like either Browns running back against the Titans. It's just not a good matchup. The Browns are at home for what it's worth, but I still don't like this matchup. The next week, they get the Ravens, another bad matchup. And then they have a bye week in week 5. So it's like almost 3 straight weeks that they're not going to be a major service. And then guess what? The following week, they face the San Francisco 49ers. It's just not a good stretch. They do get the Colts in week 7 for what it's worth. But, don't get me wrong. A starting running back is always going to be worth the waiver priority. But the next couple weeks just don't look great in terms of fantasy. So keep that in mind. You're probably not starting them unless you're completely desperate. Maybe if you're in a deeper league. Uh, but yeah, this stretch is going to be a little rough. But we'll get into that. Let me know in the chat how the Nick Chubb injury maybe affected you, didn't affect you. Did you go get Hunt? Did you go and get Ford? How do you feel about the situation overall? All right. The Rams have sent Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings for a swap of 2026 draft picks. So we've talked about Akers being maybe like the other guy who was out there, other than like Kenyon Drake or Leonard Fournette, who could potentially go to the Browns. And here we are. Cam Akers going to the Vikings. How do I feel about this? I mean, Madison coming off a bad game. I don't know. I mean, it didn't really cost them that much. How involved do I think Akers is going to be? Pretty involved. I still think Madison's going to be involved. I just think it just turns his backfield into like almost non-fantasy relevant because it's going to be a committee approach and it just kind of stinks. Like I'm not super excited about this situation at all. It's a good matchup this week for the Vikings. They get the Chargers. They've been really soft against the run. I actually was pretty encouraged about starting Alexander Madison at home against the Vikings this week. Like, I think it would be a good bounce back game. Probably stumbles into the end zone. Don't get me wrong. Both these teams probably going to throw the football first right now, as long as Eckler's still out for the Chargers. But now, I mean, listen, first game, Akers, I don't think he's going to be crazy involved. I mean, obviously he's been playing this year, but still it's a new offense, new system, new team. Like, I don't think he's going to be super involved in week one, or excuse me, here in week 3. But yeah, Akers on the Vikings. Am I excited about it? Not really. If you own Akers and or Madison, I think this is a downgrade. But we'll just have to see how things kind of unfold. It's just a weird. I mean, like, it's kind of exciting, I guess. It's really the biggest positive from fantasy is Kyron Williams will be the Rams lead back. There's really no doubt about it now. So it's bigger for the Rams than it is for the Vikings from a fantasy perspective, in my opinion. So, and I mean, who knows? Maybe Akers and or Madison becomes the guy, and like one of the others is just completely irrelevant. Maybe Akers takes over the job. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm not like super excited about that situation either. So those are the big things that have kind of unfolded in the past 24-ish hours. Derrick Henry has a toe injury, has been limited. Austin Eckler has not really practiced this week. We knew Saquon Barkley was not going to play. Amon-Ra St. Brown still dealing with the toe injury as well. He did not practice today. Kendre Miller has been practicing, coming back from the hamstring injury, which is something to pay attention to because we know Jamal Williams is now dealing with a hamstring injury and, the great hamstring apocalypse of 2023 fantasy football. And obviously Kamara is coming back, but for now, I mean, Kendre Miller might be the guy this week, which I'm actually kind of excited to see how that unfolds. So especially if you're in a deeper league, go see what's going on if Kendre Miller is available for you or not. Brandon Ayuk is expected to be a game time decision against the Giants. The Ravens have worked out running backs Kenyon Drake, Ronald Jones, and James Robinson because they're the Ravens and this is what they do. Justice Hill is actually dealing with an injury as well. And okay, so that should hit just about everything. Let's not waste any more time. Looks like you guys are going in the chat. So there's your news updates. Let me know what you guys think of everything that's kind of unfolded. And we'll kind of go from there. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight, guys. Get the chat going. Any fantasy questions you guys have, anything that you guys need, let's go. Let's get going. And do me a favor, hit the like button while you guys are down there. And let's go. All right, Smokey, good to see you. Hello, hello. How about them Steelers, baby? Filoni, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Godfather, hope you're doing great. What's up, man? Trade Geno Smith for Fields and Superflex. I mean, I think the safer play is Geno. The risk, the upside, all lies with Fields. Depends on who your QB1 is. I'm not necessarily opposed to it if you feel good about it. I mean, this week 3 game against the Chiefs feels like the big test for Fields. Like, if he plays well, I mean, this Chiefs defense actually hasn't really been anything to sneeze at lately. But If he plays well against them, they kind of let him run the ball more, please. Just let Justin run. Like let Russ cook, let Justin run. I don't know, but it depends on who your QB1 is and if you want to take that risk or not. And maybe even depends on if you have a third quarterback rostered or not. Mayday, what's up, my guy? How you doing, man? Long time no see. What's up? Logan, start Justin Fields, Mayfield, or Love. You gotta love it, baby. Like, we definitely did not think a couple weeks ago we'd be asking questions like Baker Mayfield over Justin Fields. But I do think Baker is a very strong stream option this week. I talked about Baker last week in the streaming video. I still like him this week. The Eagles have not been a good defense so far. The front seven, pretty dang good, but they've given up like 300 passing yards the first 2 games of the season. Like they're up there with the Chargers. Like they've been really, really bad. So and the Bucs are at home. So yeah, like this feels like one of those matchups. Like maybe Baker comes back to earth, but also it's just a good matchup, like realistically. So the Eagles secondary has been really poor. So I like Baker. I do think Jordan Love is just fine. He's been playing really well. He's got a tougher matchup against the Saints. This Saints unit, I just don't really feel comfortable starting a lot of players against the Saints defensive unit right now. I don't, but Jordan Love's okay. And Fields is the upside play, the risk here. I feel like Baker's the safest play. Call me crazy here, but if I would probably just roll Fields out there. I think Fields against the Chiefs, you give him one last shot. If you're like you're out on Fields, like you're just not there, you don't feel confident, trust your gut. I don't like the Saints defense right now. I mean, they haven't really had like the strongest strength of schedule to start the year, but overall this unit just looks like a good defense that is going to allow low scoring games and not good fantasy stat lines. So, I mean, God, am I really saying Baker Mayfield right here? I mean, like I said, I liked him a lot last week. I do like him this week. So, that's an interesting one. Chat, let me know what you guys think. Baker, Fields, Love. What's going on? Did you see Fields' interview? I did. Yeah, probably could have been answered a little bit better, but I mean, as a quarterback, you kind of have to say, like, yeah, everything's my fault all the time, I think. But at the same time, like, he's not really wrong that the coaching's been bad too. So start him, Geno, or Goff this week. Yeah, I really like Geno and I really like Goff this week as well. I mean, so far going into the year, it really looks like kind of going 0 quarterback, late round quarterback was a good move this year, unless you got like Mahomes. I mean, Josh Allen came back to earth, looked great last week too. But anyways, I don't mind Geno whatsoever this week. I think he has another good game. The Panthers a little stout defensively. They haven't been too poor on defense. They've been pretty bad against the run though. But I like Goff a lot. Goff is just a good streaming option, but I don't know. Once again, I think you give Fields a shot here. I go Fields, Goff, Geno. Goff and Geno, Falcons, Panthers are not great matchups. They're not bad matchups. I think they have good weeks, but I don't think they have crazy high ceilings. But they're good streams for sure. Yeah, I'm not really there. J money on Ty Chandler anyways. So if you need to move on, he's clogging your roster. That's fine. Christian Watson or DJ Moore, full PPR flex. I mean, I probably want to go DJ Moore. Watson's first game back. Once again, not the best matchup against the Saints. I'd probably go DJ Moore. That is even if Watson plays. Flex, Addison, Godwin, 2-2 Lockett. Yeah, this is tough. A lot of good options, but Jordan Addison just stands out to me this week. This matchup against the Chargers and Vikings is going to be one that I talk about all week long. I love everyone in this matchup. I don't mind Godwin, but it's really been Mike Evans has been the one that Baker is looking for. Godwin is a safe play, a good floor play. I don't mind Tutu. And of course, I don't mind Lockett, but Addison just feels like the guy here. Great matchup. Both these teams giving up a lot of points to the wide receiver position, giving up a lot of passing yards, giving up a lot of points. Both teams are 0-2. Both teams are playing under their expectations, need a win. I love Addison this week. Aiden, what's up, man? Ooh, Russell or Staff? I mean, I think you can consider both of these guys over Burrow, even if Burrow plays. Call me crazy. But ultimately, I'd probably go Russell. Miami's defense not as good as they want to appear to be. So I'd probably go Russell between the options. Freiermuth, Laporta, or Ertz rest of the season. What's that made for TV? Hope you're doing great, man. Good to see you. Probably still Freiermuth. I know it's been a bad start, but I probably rank these guys exactly how you have them here. Freiermuth, Laporta, then Ertz. I still like Ertz. I don't know. I mean, the game scripts are really supporting the passing game because like they're kind of constantly playing from behind or having to keep the game competitive, giving up big leads, right? So I still like Ertz as long as he's healthy. He's going to get the targets, whether it's Dobbs or Kyler Murray or Clayton Tune or whoever. But I mean, Josh Dobbs has had eyes for Ertz. I really like Ertz actually. The more I think about it, I just really like Ertz. But I think all these guys are good. I mean, it's tough here. I'm a little worried about the Steelers' offense, of course. I think Freiermuth will probably come back to what we expect out of him, but I don't know. It's tough. Laporta's looked good, though. He's just getting good, consistent targets. So I don't know. The only thing that makes me not say Ertz is like the age and potential health, but I do like Ertz a lot. I don't know. I might be boring and go and just stick with Freiermuth here, but he only had one target last week, but he gets Las Vegas and Houston the next 2 weeks. They should be better games overall, I would imagine. I mean, it's not like Houston's not awful defensively, but their run game's so bad that hopefully Najee and Jalen Warren can do something against that game or against that team. But I do like Sam Laporta though. He's been consistent. You know, he's only dropped one ball this year, 11 targets, 10 receptions. So, and you know, quite frankly, I don't even know if he dropped that ball, if it was just a bad throw or whatever. But he's been good. Like I think Laporta's fine. So I don't know if I even answered your question at all here, but I like all these guys. Gosh, it's tough to really gauge who's going to come out on top here, but I kind of like the position Laporta's in because I feel like that offense has been the best so far this year. So I might go Laporta, but I think there's an argument for any of these guys easily. Do you have to drop all, do you have to drop two? I mean, there might be enough teams hurting at tight end that maybe you can offload two of these guys and upgrade a skill position player. I don't know, but I might keep Laporta. Once again, I feel like the Lions have been the best offense. How do you feel about it? Brandon, what's up, man? I traded Evans and most start, received Chase. Yay or nay? I mean, you got Chase, so I would say yay. But yeah, I mean, both these guys are playing out of their minds. You definitely sold high correctly. Now the question becomes, does Chase go back to Chase? Is Burrow hurt? What do we get out of Chase this year? I would expect we're probably going to get good things out of Chase. So if you feel good about it, your rosters didn't get hurt really. You got Chase. I think you're fine. Flex one hat PPR, 2 Pickens, Ford, Dotson, Rashad. Feel kind of inclined to go Pickens here. I mean, we know Deontay's out. And Pickens looked good. He gets the Raiders. I'll probably go Pickens. Hat PPR. Maybe consider. I don't like Ford this week. It'll be an echo chamber last week. I'm just not starting running backs against the Titans defense. I do think White you can definitely consider. The Eagles, yeah, their front seven's good, but I expect some points in this game. So I go Pickens, then Rashad White. I think that I like them more than anyone else available. 2-2's okay. Dotson's a bench right now, unfortunately, until we get more production out of him. Aiden, full PPR, start 2, flex 1. Judy, Evans, Olave, Nico. Yeah, Javonte, easy here. Well, maybe not easy, but easy, actually. Yeah, you flex, however you want to look at it. You're starting Evans, Olave, and Nico. You're benching Judy and Javonte. Easily. Now, don't be surprised if Judy and Javonte have pretty good games. Like, they're playing the Dolphins. The way the Broncos look right now, they're going to give up points. They're going to sling the football around. The way the Dolphins look right now, pretty much the same, but I still go Evans, Olave, Nico. I'm like, maybe if you're worried about the matchup for Olave going up against G. Alexander, but I just don't think you bench a player like Olave ever. Um, I go Evans, Olave, Nico if it's my lineup. Caleb, I end up getting Chris Godwin for Jerome Ford. Nice. Dynasty, right? I think that's fine. I value wide receiver over running back there. So how do you feel about Puka going forward this season? Got offered 2 trades. I get Najee, he gets Hollywood. The other being I get Puka and Najee, he gets DJ Moore. Should I accept any? I mean, if you need some running back depth, I like the second trade. I mean, like, yeah, Najee coming off a bad game, and Jalen Warren looked much better overall. Looked much quicker, to say the least. But this feels like, Steelers at Raiders feels like the type of game where Najee's coming off a bad game, and then Najee like scores a touchdown and gets you like 12, 13, 14 points, like it just feels like a Steelers trap. I like DJ Moore, of course. If you're okay with moving him to get that extra running back, I think Puka's fine. I've been saying it, I mean, not for too long here, but I think when Cooper Kupp comes back, if Kupp comes back, I feel like there's still a chance he doesn't. But if you're worried about Kupp coming back affecting Puka, it's definitely going to affect Puka. But I still think he'll be a valuable flex option. I don't have. I think he's going to be a player that we can still start in full PPR. And the way things are looking, maybe on a more consistent offense than the Bears. And I don't dislike DJ Moore. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, like, you look at Puka, who's had 35 targets through the first 2 games, which is just ridiculous. Tutu Atwell, on the other hand, has had 17 targets through the first 2 games. Still good. He's had 17 fantasy points and 15 fantasy points. Like, I think that just is what Puka can do if Kupp comes back and gets the majority of the target share. And then, quite frankly, this wide receiver core looks really good. So yeah, I think Puka's fine. I don't want to read too much in this narrative of like he's just going to do nothing once Kupp is back, because right now Tutu Atwell's producing with Puka getting the majority of the targets, and I think that you just kind of flip that, and who knows, maybe they just start throwing it even more. Maybe the offense is just that much more efficient with these 3 wide receivers out there. So I think Puka's fine. If you need the additional running back, you're hurting there, then I think the trade's fine. I like the second trade a little bit more, actually. I don't mind moving Hollywood for Najee, but I don't know. I mean, like a 1-for-1 for Najee, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. You know what I mean? Caleb, Swift, Addison, London, or Breece Hall? Addison, for sure. Addison. He's going to be a must start for me all across the board. And I like London. I like Swift. Hall is okay, but yeah, Addison for sure. Smokey, top 2 to drop. Might need to pick up QB for Burrow this week and in defense. Dotson, Kincaid, Roschon, Warren, Muth. Oh, Do you feel like you can drop Dots? And I don't know if I'm quite there. Roschon is a ticking time bomb in a good way. I do feel like Roschon will get more touches and more touches as the season goes on. And he's also just an injury, a Khalil Herbert injury away from good volume on a bad offense. So, oh gosh. And then Warren the same way. Like, those are just 2 really good handcuffs. I mean, if you're in a really good position at running back, you can consider moving on from one of those guys, but you just like lose like a great handcuff right off the bat. I mean, yeah, you can probably drop one or the other tight end. Kincaid got better volume last week in a soft matchup. Knox is still getting decent volume though. Drop one of the handcuffs, drop one of the running backs, whoever you have the least faith in. And Smokey, just because they're on the Steelers doesn't mean you have to keep them. Jute, what's going on, man? Pick 2: Keenan, Ridley, Puka, Madison, or Lockett. That's tough, but you start Keenan Allen against the Vikings for sure, and you probably go Puka. I mean, how do you not? I think, but then like, where does Ridley come in? We have to start Ridley too. I mean, like, this is a good problem, don't get me wrong. But, like, how do you not start Ridley? He gets the Jaguars. He could have Derek Stingley on him most of the day. This Texans secondary is not bad. It's just their run defense is so bad that they end up being bad as well. Like, Derek Stingley's still a good corner. What does he do against Calvin Ridley? That'll be interesting, but I might go Keenan and Puka. I mean, then the other thing is, like, I mean, the Texans are ripping the football right now. They're throwing it. Like, Stroud does not look that bad at all. But you could see a game script here where Travis Etienne's really involved and the Texans get ran all over. So it's a little tough. But you're definitely Madison and Lockett are the odd men out. And like Lockett can outscore anyone, 2 touchdowns last week. So he's tough to bench too, but I still think I like the latter wide receivers more. So I definitely go Keenan Allen. I'd probably go Puka. Oh my gosh, it's so close though. Like, you can't really go wrong here. That's the problem. It's a good problem, but Ridley and Lockett are great starts too. Madison, especially with Akers, Madison against the Chargers, I still like, but why? Why do these things happen? I'm leaning Keenan and Puka right now, but if you go Ridley, I will not blame you. If you even go Lockett, I won't blame you. Kyron Williams or Jordan Addison. I still go Jordan Addison here. I like Kyron, don't get me wrong, a lot, but Addison, full PPR, hands down. Ford or Aaron Jones? Aaron Jones, as long as he's healthy, for sure. Ford, bad matchup. Have Brees, White, Kyron, Hunt, and Moss. Who should I try to target in trades? I mean, if you're trying to trade specifically for a running back or trade these running backs, I mean, it just depends. Like, it's really hard to just say go out and get this guy, because like if I recommend you go out and trade for DeAndre Swift, and then like the guy in your league who had DeAndre Swift also had Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins, and like now has like is streaming a RB2, and then like you're trying to get his RB1 at this point. It's like it just doesn't make any sense. So I mean, it just depends on who's you have to kind of gauge the rosters in your league and see like what positions do I have that I can use to an advantage in a trade for, against a specific roster in my league. So a little bit of context probably matters overall. Which trade would you do? London and Dotson for Watson, or same duo for Waller? It's kind of tough because we don't know what we're going to get out of Watson. I'd probably go for Watson, though. I probably wouldn't do the trade for Waller quite yet. I mean, like, I'm not out on Waller. I'd just rather get a wide receiver running back if I'm trading London and Dotson. Mike Williams or Josh Kelly? If Eckler's out, Mike Williams for sure. This is a game that they're going to be passing first. I mean, Josh Kelly is a good start this week compared to last week, where I begged you guys like 3 streams in a row. Let's not start Josh Kelly against a good run defense. It's a much, much softer run defense this week. So I don't mind Josh Kelly this week, but I still go for Mike Williams. Who would you start? I have Ayuk, Thielen, Davis, and Tank Bell. Tank Dell. Ayuk might not play, and it's a short week. Thursday night games. I mean, you probably have to start Ayuk if he plays. But yeah, this is an interesting list because Adam Thielen, garbage time touchdown. Looked like Bryce Young was finally gaining some confidence. Made that game semi-interesting. Gabe Davis against the Commanders feels like, I mean, last week was a Gabe Davis week, so you kind of got to gauge it. Like, is he going to hit again this week? He hit last week. He's very boomer bust. Tank Dell, I think, is okay. He gets the Jags. That defense, nothing to sneeze at. But I'd probably go Ayuk for a floor right now, even on a short week. And we got to monitor if he plays or not. Davis is kind of the upside play here. So, I mean, like Thielen, Dell, Ayuk, all floor plays. And Ayuk is usually the smash play. Like, usually 99.9% of the time it's Ayuk. But he's coming off an injury. He's questionable right now. It's a short week. The Giants are down Saquon. Like, Are the Niners really going to risk one of their best offensive players? I don't know. It's a home game for the Niners. Like, the Niners are probably in a good position here, so he could very well sit. But I might just go Gabe Davis for the upside. James Cook or Mostert, both are fine this week. Both are fine. The Commanders looked pretty soft last week defensively. It was an away game, like literally on the opposite side of the country. So, I mean, like that might have something to do with it. Raheem Mostert is fine. You know, he plays the Broncos this week at home. I'm not really scared of this Broncos defense. I mean, Cook, I'd probably go Cook in PPR. Probably what I do. But Mostert's fine. He's a safe play. Easy McQueen. Did I screw up not trading Breece Hall for Cooper? Maybe. I mean, only time will tell. I mean, Cooper looked really good last week, so I'm not completely like I told you guys last week. I don't think Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson are completely doomed. I mean, last week Breece Hall looked pretty much doomed. They're at home this week. They play the Patriots. Patriots have looked soft defensively, but they've looked soft before to start the season, then ended up being the best, defense in the league the rest of the year because Bill Belichick's involved. But Mostert had a lot of success against the Patriots last week, obviously. Then week 1, the Eagles ran just well against them. So I don't think Hall is completely doomed. I'd probably rather roster Cooper, though. So Fields or Love, so hard. I mean, Love is the floor play. Fields has the risk, has the upside. So, but Love has a tough matchup against the Saints. How do you feel about Gabe Davis and Addison this week? So we kind of have touched on both those guys throughout the night. I like Davis is perfectly fine as an upside play. I think this Washington unit at home this week, don't call me crazy, I think they're a little sneaky against the Bills. But I love Addison this week. Addison, if you guys own Addison, you have to start him, in my opinion. Albert, good to see you, broski. Rachaad White, Connor, or Hopkins. I mean, I might go D-Hop. D-Hop's the floor play. Full PPR. I don't mind him. Less targets last week. So which was interesting against a soft matchup. So something to consider. I don't really want to go James Conner against the Cowboys. No. I like White this week, though. I might go Rachaad White. Loved him last week. Had a great week. I liked him week 1. Had a bad week, but really encourage you guys to start him last week. He had a huge bounce back week, but that was against the Bears. No, the Eagles, I still like him. I think he's fine, but I think both him and Hopkins are pretty good floor plays this week. So whoever you feel better about. Nick, pick 2, Olave, Mike Williams, or Addison. Oh, yeah, I've been telling you guys throughout the stream, and like I love this matchup between the Vikings and Chargers. I mean, seriously, I might bench Olave here. And it's really tough for me to ever say bench a guy like Olave. He has a tough matchup against Jair Alexander. Jair's gonna be on Olave over MT and Shaheed. But I say it all the time too, like good wide receivers, like they have the corner 1 on them for a reason. That's because they are good wide receivers and they will outplay good corners on particular plays and sometimes a whole game. So Jair's probably top 5 in the league easily, but it could be a tough day for Olave. So I might go Williams and Addison, but if not, I go Olave and Addison as much as I like Mike Williams. But it's just, I mean, Chargers, Vikings, it's like probably the game of the week for fantasy. So tough. Who do you like the best? I think trading Addison for Najee is good if I'm deep at wide receiver. No. I mean, if you are just all the way hurting at running back, maybe, but even then, I wouldn't trade for Najee. You can get a better running back for Addison. And the other thing I tell you guys, man, is like, having depth is good. Like if you're deep at wide receiver, don't just be like, oh, I can't start everyone. I need to trade them. Like, look at how quickly things have already moved the first 2 weeks of this season. Like, you never know who's going to get hurt. You just don't know what's going to happen. Having depth is good. And if you have good depth with good players, moving along into the season, like you can still move those players 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, or I don't know when your guys' trade deadline ends, but it's okay to have a lot of good players on your team, even if it's all wide receivers. Like then each and every week, I have my flexes covered. I have my wide receiver 1 and 2 covered. And guys, the other thing that's going to start popping up here pretty soon that a lot of you guys probably haven't thought about, that admittedly I haven't looked at in a ton of my leagues, I have looked at in some, is bye weeks. You guys are going to look ahead and be like, oh my gosh, I have no running backs in week 7, no wide receivers. And, 2 of my starting wide receivers are out week 8. Like, so I wouldn't do this trade personally. Got Puka and Kyron Williams, Gainwell week 1. Nice. Good waiver moves. Easy McQueen. Should I drop Richie James in a 10-team deep dynasty league? Yeah, you can if you need to, I would say. He hasn't been involved like at all, so I would say so. Tommy, what's good, man? Looking for my first win in my home league. Been tough. Got Kyron off waivers, starting Fields, Gibbs, Kenneth. Need 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Watson, Tank Dell, Kyron, Swift. Swift and Garrett Wilson have tough matchups. Yeah. But I do think in this situation, I mean, you have to start Amon-Ra. And I probably am still starting Garrett Wilson right here. I mean, like, you can go Christian Watson. If he gets listed as fully healthy and you feel good about it, I think he's fine. If you don't feel good about Wilson. But the Patriots, they've been fine defensively, but they've also looked pretty soft. I mean, they played the Eagles and the Dolphins. As, those might be the 2 best offenses in the league right now. But I think Wilson is still a solid. I mean, I like him more as a flex. I think he's fine. So 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. Okay, sorry. I would probably flex Kyron and Swift. I think they give you the best potential here. Then I'd start Amon-Ra and Garrett Wilson or Watson. But you could also be in a situation where Amon-Ra and or Watson don't play, which would be bad. I feel like Amon-Ra, like he gets these types of injuries and he gears up on Sunday, So that is tough. But you might be flexing those 2 running backs and then leaving one of the wide receivers out. What's up, DT Sport? Hello. Do you think Chase is bound for about? Yeah, I think Chase will be fine. They miss out on Josh Kelly. I mean, probably not. Eckler's going to be back at some point. I mean, he's not a bust. He just had a really bad matchup last week. A better matchup this week. And I don't think Eckler's going to play. But I think he's closer to playing. But Eckler will be back. So I say no. Thoughts on Goddard? Should I keep him in a tight end dynasty league? Yeah. You're still holding him. Don't drop Goddard in dynasty. Maybe in redraft if you have made the right moves at tight end, but not in dynasty. No, too soon. Have you viewed Kamara? Kamara's fine. We'll have to see what happens, but he's fine. Who'd you trade Chase for? Completely dependent on who's on your roster. Taylor, Dynasty PPR, 2 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end, 4 flex. I just lost Saquon and Dobbins, so I'm down to starting Connor and Deuce Vaughn at running back thanks to Akers not playing. Would you trade Godwin for Robinson if you're okay at wide receiver? Yeah. I mean, the other option is like, is this just it's just a year where you're starting to look for assets, I mean, I still value Godwin much more than Brian Robinson in Dynasty, just due to the fact that I am going to value wide receiver over running back. But yeah, if you need to, I'm not out necessarily there. I think the Robinson owner even accept. I do think it's a fair trade. Yeah, potentially. All right, let me see here. Zay Flowers or Nico Collins. I love both these guys this week. You really can't go wrong. Like, hate to give you that answer, but I love both these guys this week. I might go with Nico, or excuse, I might go with Zay Flowers because he's got a better matchup. But like I think Nico is going to get really good volume overall. So I don't really mind either. But right now, I go Flowers due to matchup, but it's super close. Rashad White, Pickens, Tutu, or Dell. I think we hit this. I go Pickens, White, Tutu, then Dell. I like Tank Dell a lot. It was definitely worth going and picking up, but we need to see a little bit more production before we're starting him over guys that have been productive before. You know what I mean? I dropped Justice Hill for Tajay Spears. I think that's smart. Yeah, and guys, check if Tajay Spears is available in your league. I mean, he's a great handcuff, A, and B, you've got this toe injury popping up for Henry. Might be something to monitor. Aiden, my day is going great. Thank you for asking. How's your day going? DeAndre Swift season, what's up? Pick 2 to flex. Dell, Downs, Tony Jones. This case, I'd probably go Dell and Zay Jones. Yeah, love having the fancy questions. Keep them coming, guys. Have Brees, Rashad White, Kyron Hunt, and Moss. Who should I try to trade or target in trades? We hit this one already. I think Fields struggled to start last season. I picked him up off waivers, went on to win the ship in Superflex League. Be patient is my advice. And I mean, it's not just with Fields, it's really with like any player. Like, we're only 2 weeks in. Don't forget why you drafted these players. You go back and you look at a lot of players last year. Guess what you're going to see is some bad stat lines throughout the year, whether it was early, whether it was sporadic, whether it was mid-season, late season. You know, it just don't forget that a lot of players played poorly throughout the year last year at times, right? But yeah, I do think there's a chance here that Fields like gets going at week 6 or whatever. I've been arguing that like he just needs some time to warm up. Just like not encouraging, but it could be a thing. Tyler at the bottom of the chat with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much for the dono. Appreciate you, Tyler. Start Josh Reynolds or Pittman if Waddle misses. This is a good question. I really like Reynolds right now. Really, really like Reynolds. I think you ride that hot hand. But I really like Pittman too. Pittman has a tougher matchup though. Pittman's been seeing some pretty good volume, and I liked him a lot. Encourage you guys to start him last week. He was in the must-start video. And I do like Michael Pittman. 12 targets week 2, 11 targets week 1, at 8 receptions, 56 receiving yards last week. Good stat line, 13.6 fantasy points. So I do like Pittman quite a bit, but I also like Reynolds like a lot right now. I mean, if you guys are in the leagues with me, you guys saw that I put a lot of free agent money down on Josh Reynolds, but he is injured right now. Like he's dealing with a groin injury, so keep that in mind. But I might ride the hot hand of Reynolds just due to the matchup completely. So let me see here. Josh Reynolds gets the Falcons, who have been 11th against the position so far this year. Not great, but a lot of that is due to game script, in my opinion. And then on the other hand, Pittman gets the Ravens, who have been a lot poorer at 23 overall. So maybe go Pittman if you feel better about him, Tyler. I think that's fine. But I just think Reynolds, tougher matchup coming off the injury. So if you want to go Pittman, I think he's the floor play. But I like the upside of Josh Reynolds. I just think it's a hot hand to ride right now. So Tyler, thank you for the super chat. And hopefully that was helpful. But yeah, floor play, Pittman, upside risk, Reynolds. Is Brees Hall a sit? Probably, unless if you have better options. I don't think Hall is completely doomed. I don't hate him against the Patriots. It depends on who you have. Baker struggles with pressure. If Eagles D-line can get him, it could be a long day. That's true. I believe in Baker. It's Baker season. Daniel Jones, Baker, or Stroud. Not Jones on a short week against the Niners. I probably do go Baker here, but Stroud is sneaky. Stroud might be a streaming option. I go Baker, actually. Smokey, thank you for being a channel member for 7 months. 7 months of membership, but been here since the beginning. You're the GOAT. Appreciate that. Great to see how the fam has grown closer to that Vegas get together. It'll be a while. It's 100K, right? Yeah, whenever we hit 100K subscribers, we'll do the Vegas trip. But Smokey, thank you for supporting the channel. for so long. Channel member or not, thank you for being here from the beginning, and certainly appreciate you, man. And love having you as part of the community. Just if you're listening in at the gym, be sure not to accidentally block anyone in the chat. But I appreciate you, Smokey. A1 day one, right? All right, guys. I only have so much time tonight, unfortunately, so I'm going to be like speeding through the questions. How do you view Dak rest season? Dak stack. We know what we're going to get out of him. Like you drafted Dak, and you know what you're going to get out of him. And he hasn't had to do a lot. That's kind of the problem with Dak right now, but he's fine. He's fine. Pick one tight end, one flex. Tight end options are Njoku, Hill, Ertz. Flex are Brees, White, Tank, Dell. I go Ertz, then Hill, then Njoku. I have a bad feeling about Njoku right now. Then I go White, Dell, and Brees. Whoever you feel about are kind of in the same tier for me, but I probably go White. Tutu or Godwin. I'd probably go Godwin, but Tutu's fine. Do you think Rachaad White will have a decent game against the Eagles? Yes. I think White's fine. If you pick up Breida, Jones, or Kendre, I go Tony Jones this week. Would you package Watson and White for Cook? No, not personally. Not personally. Don't panic on Chase, Caleb. We'll be okay. Dom, what's up, man? Njoku or Ertz? I go Ertz. Tua or Deshaun? I'll go Tua. Kirk or Watson? I go Kirk. For sure. Wait, Christian. Okay, sorry. I was thinking Kirk Cousins or Deshaun Watson. That's not what you meant. I might still go Christian Kirk here, though. Jets defense or Seattle defense? Seattle. I like them this week. They looked good last week, even though they gave up a lot of points. Pierce, White, Connor, Miles, or Rozier, pick two. Rachaad White. Ooh. Not Connor. That's for sure. Maybe not for sure. I don't like him this week. Probably not Algier, but he could always stumble back into the end zone. Miles Sanders is probably my pick against the Panthers. I'll go Miles Sanders. Or excuse me, against the Seahawks. I'll go Miles Sanders. Good matchup. He does have a pec injury, of course. So I don't know. Monitor that. But if you don't like him, go Algier. Who should be my main target and waivers between Reynolds, Moss, or Ford? Reynolds. Ford is very close, though. Team is Allen, CMC, Najee, Waddle, Watson, London, Laporta, Dotson, Goff, Javonte, Gainwell. I mean, maybe you go Ford. It looks like you need running back help after CMC more than anything, but Waddle and Watson have been banged up. I like Reynolds a lot. I'm on this. I might go Reynolds. Need one running back plus two flex spots. Watson, Sanders, Ford, Flowers, Dotson, White. One running back. I go White. I'm sticking with him this week. I go Flowers, and I probably go Christian Watson if he's healthy. Laporta or Waller. Laporta for the floor, but Waller for the upside. Waller's fine still. Every season's different, and it's always a little bit disappointing. The expectations we set are never quite fair. So, should I trade for Rachaad White or Brian Robinson? I mean, I like both. Maybe Brian Robinson, the way that offense is, like they're kind of almost funneling through. I might go Brian Robinson, and I really like Rachaad White, but I might go Brian Robinson. Anakin picked up Jerome Ford off waivers. Have Walker, but do you think I'll be fine until Jonathan Taylor comes back? Picked him up in the 5th. Probably fine is a good way to put it. Yeah, you'll be all right. Blizzy, I only have Washington defense. Josh Allen starting. Yeah, I would pick up another defense this week. I think they'll be okay, but yeah, I would pick up another defense. Our must-start defense video is out. If you guys want to go check it out, Steven has that posted for you guys. Aiden, I have Kyron, Mixon, Javonte, Brees, Warren. Would you try to trade or package to upgrade or just hold? I mean, you can trade any of these players except Kyron. So if you want to upgrade, I think that's fine. More likely to score a touchdown this week, Waller or Kittle? Kittle. Kenny, what's up, man? Start two full PPR. Puka, Mostart, White, Flowers, Kyron, London. A lot of good options here. I'd start Puka and Flowers. A lot of good options, though. Alex was good, my guy. Gordo, pick two, D-Hop, Collins, Cook, Moore. Collins and DJ Moore. But 4 good options. I would start Collins. The other 3 are all fine. Alex, PPR, Flex 1, Algier, Flowers, Dell, Pierce, Sky Moore, Flowers. Warrior, I have Nick Chubb, JT Hall, and Khalil Herbert. I'm 2-0. Let's go, baby. Reese, should I trade Eckler away? No. Jeezy, Alave, Keenan, Puka, Addison, DJ, pick 3. Keenan, Puka, Addison. And yeah, I mean, I'm not against Alave if you need to start him. I'm not against Alave if you don't need to start him. But yeah, it is a tough matchup this week. John, what do I do with my team? I got T-Law, Fields, Ford, Najee, Tyreek, Alave, Judy, Goddard, 12-team PPR. I lost Chubb. I mean, you got 2 good quarterbacks. Your running backs weak. If anything, you need to try and upgrade at running back and maybe get better wide receiver depth. Which defense do you start? Patriots or Jags? Both on Stevens must start list this week. I'd probably go the Patriots. I mean, I think they're soft, but I think Zach Wilson's going to make mistakes. Pickens or Flowers? I go Flowers, but it is close. 0-2 against the Cowboys defense week 1, Steelers defense week 2. Yes, stinker. I have to give Steven another shout out. Must start defenses week 2. He had the Steelers on there. Got a lot of hate in the comments. Good call. Chat, Chiron or Kelly? I go Chiron. George, what's up? Pittman, London, Collins, White, Sanders. Pick at least 1 running back, 1 flex. I would start Rashad White, and then I would start Collins. But Pittman and London are still fine. If it's redraft, you can panic on Goddard if there are options you're more comfortable with, Caleb. Maddie, I have Walker and Kamara on the bench. After I lost Dobbins, I picked up Gainwell, Chiron, Kelly, and Ford. Seems like overkill. Who should I drop / trade? Don't trade Chiron, but anyone else you can trade. Don't move on from Chiron, though. Chiron or Chris Godwin to start. If it's full PPR, I might go Godwin, but Chiron's safe. Thanks for recommending Nico last week. Absolutely. Started him in my 8 and 12 team. He absolutely killed it. Let's go. Pedro, I traded Ramondre Keenan. I received Pollard and Mike Williams. I mean, I'd rather have Pollard than Stevenson, but I like both. I'd rather have Allen than Williams, but I like both. I don't think this trade was ultimately game changing for your roster, but I think it's fine. I like Pollard a lot though, so I think it's fine. How do you feel about Adams plus Pickens for Godwin and Chase? That's fine if you feel good about it. John, start Kelly at Minnesota or Connor? Kelly. J-Dubs, what's up, dude? John, Debo or Metcalf? Debo's coming off a good game, so maybe it's time for him to have a bad game. That offense. Both are fine, but Carolina's not allowing a ton of points right now. I'd probably go Debo. Taylor, my wide receivers in that league I was talking about are Amon-Ra, Allen, London, Watson, Ridley, Godwin, Reynolds, Bateman, Juju, Thielen, Rondell. Yeah, you have a lot of wide receivers. So you're probably okay. Yeah. If you need to do that trade, I think that's fine. Give me the best upside play, JSN, Jones, or Dell. I mean, the best upside play is probably Zay Jones. I go Jones, Dell, and JSN, but I probably take Dell personally. Flex Nico or White. I'm still flexing Nico here. What do you think starting Javonte and Hall? I do think it's okay, Caleb, if you need to. The Dolphins haven't been great, and the Patriots haven't been great against the running back, so I think it's okay. Crystal, pick 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end. Amon-Ra, Williams. And, I mean, if you're worried about the Ayuk injury, just go Flowers. 2 running backs, C-Mac and Gibbs. But Pacheco, I like this week, and Mostert, I like this week, but I go C-Mac and Gibbs. Pitts, Henry, I go Henry, hands down. I'm not a Pitts guy. Go Henry. So Amon-Ra, Mike Williams. You have a lot of good wide receivers. Usually it's going to be Ayuk, but short week, Thursday Night Football, coming off an injury. I like Flowers against the Colts a lot. C-Mac, Gibbs, Pacheco, I think has a good week. Mostert probably has a good week. And then Hunter Henry for sure right now. Should I hold Davis Mills? I mean, it never hurts to hold a backup quarterback in Dynasty most of the time. Should I hold Fant in that Dynasty League? I have Johnson, Everett, and Andrews. You don't need to. I don't think if you need room on your roster, he's probably the odd man out. You think Gainwell will become RB1? No, I think it'll be a committee, essentially. But he's worth rostering for sure. 3 started for this week. Bijan, Gibbs, Jacobs, or Chiron. Shoot. I might bench Jacobs. I mean, am I crazy for saying that? Seriously, I might bench Jacobs out of them. Thoughts of Josh Jacobs rest of the season? He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He will be. I promise. Laporta, Henry, or Pitts? Henry. I have Godwin and Evans in Dynasty. Should I try to trade one of them? If you're going to trade one of them, maybe it's Evans the way he's playing right now. You sell him high. I mean, he's going to be fine another 1, 2, 3 years, but like he's got to be towards the end of his career. So in Dynasty, maybe sell him high right now. Aiden, have a great day as well. Feelings on MT when Kamara returns. Yeah, he's just a mid flex play, regardless if Kamara's there or not. Jacks, Chiefs, or Hawks instead of Bills, they're all good options. Yeah, they're all good options. They're all on Steven's must start video of the week. So I might go the Hawks. I think they're sneaky this week, but they're all good. Steven's been doing very well. I mean, he did very well last year in year 1, but yeah, he's been killing it this year so far. He's got a good feel for those defensive streams. I wouldn't have said to start the Steelers last week. He's got a good feel for it. Feelings on Puka when Cup returns. Yeah, he'll be just fine. He'll be fine. He'll be doing what Tutu's doing right now. Jets defense perfectly okay this week. Start Nico or DK? DK for a floor, Nico for more upside. Flex 1, Olave, Pickens, Flowers. I mean, it's really hard to sit Olave. If you don't like the matchup, go Flowers. Drop 1 for Hollywood Brown or Myers. I wouldn't drop any of these guys for Hollywood Brown or Myers. My running backs, Williams, Pierce, Mostart, Hunt, Akers, JT, wide receiver, Hill, Cooper, Thomas. What wide receivers trade for? Look for whatever team in your league needs a running back. And then go out and try to trade for his wide receiver, one of his, wide receivers that you can start. Mateo, one guy in my league is trying to trade for one of my tight ends, is offering either Brian Robinson or White. He's stacked in running back. Who should I trade him? Just trade him Pitts. Trade him Pitts for either of those running backs and don't look back. Should I start Jerome Ford or Jones? Jones, if he's healthy. Bad matchup for Ford. Warrior Loft, what's up, bro? Ravens or Hawks? I like both, but I go Hawks. Pick one pair: Moss, Myers, Pierce, Kelly. Moss and Myers, I guess. Should I trade away Saquon and Moore for Wilson, Rashad, and Algier, or try to get Ridley instead of Wilson, replace Sky with someone better? Yeah, I would rather go get Ridley. I have Connor as an RB3 right now. My wide receivers are pretty poor. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you can get Ridley, then go do it, bro. Is Swift and White for Mixon too much? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you're getting Swift and White, take it. If you're trading them, don't do it. I only laughed about Josh Jacobs because the question before I said I might bench him, and then you asked, will he be okay this season? That's the only reason I laughed. He will be okay. But out of those options in the previous question, I might bench him this week. C-Crip, what QB do you like this week if Burrow's out? Purdy and Stroud are fine. But yeah, I like Staff. I like Geno. I like Russ. I like Baker. Got a lot of good streaming options here. Don't overthink it. They like so many good streaming options at quarterback right now. Start Dak or Watson. Dak. Rest of the season, JSN or Elijah Moore. Redraft Elijah Moore. Dynasty JSN. Damon Pierce, rest of the season outlook. I don't feel great, but I don't feel like all hope is lost. So I don't know what that means, but week 1, we saw like 3 running backs utilized in that offense. Week 2, we didn't see a lot out of him off his 15 rushing attempts. This team is throwing the football. They want CJ Stroud to rip it. and he's doing it, and he's not making mistakes. He's got 1 or 2 fumbles this year, but he has he's up there in the league in terms of passing attempts, like top 5. Might even be higher than that. So I don't love Pierce right now. It's been very disappointing. Thoughts on Devontae Adams? Yeah, I mean, obviously his ceiling's low, and I kind of talked about that going into the year. His ceiling's going to be lower, Jimmy Garoppolo quarterback, but he's still, as long as he's healthy, we saw it last week, he's still going to have those Adams moments. He's still fine. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a different season. Oh, Agent Clark Kent, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for the support. Welcome to the Catch fam. Feel free to rip the emojis in the chat. You have exclusive emojis. 12-man half PPR. Don't have Eckler and Monty this weekend, so I'm desperate. McKinnon and Allaire, the only running backs I could pick up. I hate both. I would attempt to start McKinnon for sure. He gets the Bears. He's your best shot. This Bears defense sucks against running backs. Fire him up. I mean, I have him in the league, and I was going to drop him. I'm like, this might be the week we see him get more involved, especially if the Bears keep that game competitive. So I go McKinnon. Who to start, Cousins or T-Law? I might go Cousins this week. Cousins going to be a smash play. I might go Cousins. And I don't panic on T-Law, but this might just be one of those weeks where you can just start Cousins. Caleb, of course, man. Always happy to help you, man. Of course. Who to drop between Dobbs, Bourne, and Roshan? Bourne. I think Bourne was a 1-week wonder, but we'll see what happens. I have Jones, Cook, White, Swift, B-Rob. You're in a pretty good spot then. Oh, is Swift and White? Yeah, don't do that. Keep Swift and White, in my opinion. 100% keep those guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sped through that, made it to the bottom of the chat. Unfortunately, it is going to be a shorter stream tonight. I do apologize. I really only have time for about an hour tonight. I have quite a bit of work I have to do before tomorrow, so I am going to have to go ahead and call it short tonight, but I wanted to make sure I got on for you guys. So yeah, a good hour segment here. We got a lot of good questions in, and appreciate all the questions, guys. We have must-start running backs, must-start wide receivers out. Make sure you guys go check those out. We have must-start defenses and must-start kickers out by Steven. Must-start kickers just dropped today. Go drop Steven a comment. He loves hearing from you guys. Tomorrow's Thursday. Can you believe it? We already have football back tomorrow. So Steven and I will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern time for an hour before kickoff. And we'll get back into it. So don't worry, guys. We'll have time tomorrow. Get your lineups right. Then I'll be back on Friday night. And I'll probably be on Saturday night, but I will be out of town Saturday for most of the day, so I'm not quite sure. But I will be back on Sunday for sure. So we got all of our content out tomorrow. I'll drop streaming options at quarterback and tight end for you guys. And then we should have the Underdog Pick'ems drop on Friday. And then 5 more must-start players will drop Saturday for you guys. So, dude, you're fine at running. Take advantage of that running back depth. There are a lot of teams hurting at running back depth right now. Taylor, of course, thank you, bro. Fields is my quarterback, but I hate the matchup this week. Got Goff, Stafford, or Geno. Yeah, I mean, Fields, I think this is your last, roll him out. Give him faith one more time, But if you want to go Goff, Stafford, or Geno, they're all really good options. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. And welcome, thank you for becoming a channel member. Appreciate you. Amazing answers, amazing questions. Always grateful for your advice and patience. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. And I really, really just enjoy doing this with you guys and for you guys. And I'm happy to help you guys in any way I possibly can. So appreciate the kind words. You're welcome, Warrior Loft. Thank you. Warren or Miles Sanders? Sanders, if he's healthy, gets the Hawks. I think he goes Sanders, but Warren's okay against the Raiders. Should I trade Watson and Kamara for Tua and Deontay? I might consider that if you're good at running back. I'd rather have Tua than Watson. So if it is Deshaun Watson and not Christian Watson, but yeah, I don't mind that. Do you think Geno can support all 3 wide receivers, Metcalf, Lockett, and JSN? Starting to feel that Geno can't even support himself some weeks. Yeah, I mean, you even see it with the Jaguars, even like Kirk, Ridley, Jones, Ingram aren't consistent every week. It's hard to do so. It depends on the game script. I think he can. I just don't know if he'll do it every single week, if that makes sense. So, All right, guys, be sure to hit the like button on the way out. If you guys are new to the channel and you're here tonight, thank you. Be sure to subscribe. Links are down below. Follow us on Instagram, join our free Discord, other places to reach me, other places to reach the community. Post your rosters on Discord, ask any questions. We have a very active community on Discord, so make sure you guys join. It's completely free to do so. And like I said, hit the like on the way out. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll finish out the chat. Then I'm going to wrap it up. Sold Hurts and Wilson for T-Law and Keenan. It's close. I mean, I'd rather have Keenan than Wilson. I'm not out on Wilson, but I still rather have Keenan, and I'd rather have Hurts than T-Law. I probably wouldn't have moved Hurts this early in the season. Like if it was Hurts for T-Law and Keenan, that's one thing, but I wouldn't have sold Hurts and another wide receiver personally. I don't think Wilson is scraps like a lot of people do, though, so maybe I'm biased, but good upgrade at wide receiver. T-Law is going to be fine, but still Hurts is Hurts. You know what I mean? If Goff keeps balling, does become a good trade asset? Yeah, sure. But, you know, in a lot of single quarterback leagues, there's always going to be someone at QB until we get to like week 10-ish. So, but yeah, probably. Thank you, Warloft. Have a good night, bro. And thank you, Birdman. Good to see you. New England or Jacksonville? It's close. I think both are good, but I'd probably go New England against Zach Wilson. Both are good, though. Swift or Kyron? I mean, I like Swift a lot. I think he's going to have a good week, and I like Kyron a lot. I think he's going to have a good week. I think Kyron's safer. Swift brings more risk, more upside. So whether you want the floor or the upside plays is how I would look at it. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the night. So thank you guys again for everything. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for all the fancy questions. I do apologize. I don't have more time tonight, but that's what I've got for the night. So appreciate you guys, and thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for all the support. And love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. That's going to wrap it up for the night. If you guys need anything, go check out the videos for the week. Drop me a YouTube comment. That's going to be the quickest way to reach me. Outside of that, hit up the community on Discord. And Steve and I will be on tomorrow for an hour. So I will be back tomorrow for you guys as well. So with that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And